Hello everyone, this is 3D Quads, and in today's video we're going to talk about retopology. So what's retopology? Retopology is actually the process of converting a high poly mesh into a low poly mesh so that you can use it in animations or for video games or whatever purpose that you would like to have by building a low poly mesh from a high poly mesh. Now in this example that I have here, we will talk today about how can we do the remesh, or what is the best topology when you try to create a character, or when you try to remesh a character after you have a high poly sculpted mesh of that character. In this example here we have this turtle lizard. It looks like a turtle that I have made. I'm working on it for a specific project, and this actually is the low poly mesh after I did the remesh for the high poly. So let's have a look on the high poly first. So this is here the high poly, and as you can see it consists of too many faces. It's around 747,000, and it has a lot of details, as you can see here. Let me just click away and hide these faces or these objects that I created earlier. So this is it. This is how it looks as a sculpted mesh. And you notice that this is not a proper mesh actually for animation or for anything. It could be for just showing, but even for texturing, it will not help you a lot in doing that. So this is just like the first concept that you start with. Usually you start by sculpting something or a model that you would like to create, and then you move to the next phase, which is our subject today, the retopology. Okay, so by putting this face on top of the original one, this is the sculpted, and the purple one here is the retopologized mesh. But during the retopology, you need to consider the clean topology that you need to build on top of this topology. So hiding this back and going back to our retopology object, you will notice that we need to consider certain elements in order to give our model a clean mesh to animate or to deform. So that's the concept here. As you see in my sculpt mode, you notice that there should be a boundary for the nose area, and there should be a boundary for the mouth area till the forehead, or below the eyes a little bit. And then we have this for the jaw, and this here we have the eyes rounding area. So usually you move from one area to another area with what we call them poles. So here, if you notice that I have this vertex here that has 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 edges connected to this vertex. So this, what we call it a pole. This is a 5-edge pole. Okay, now if you would like to move from one area to model the other areas, usually you will have something like this. In this example here, in this area here, we notice that this is my pole. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 edges. So I'm moving from one area to another area using these poles. The same, you will notice it somewhere here. This is a pole. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this will help you shape the object that you are trying to model and isolate certain areas to manage what we call it the flow of edges. So if I try now to go to edit mode, if I go to edit mode and I try to put a loop cut here, Control R, you notice that this loop cut is it goes around the eyes exactly here, as long as I did not pass or exceed that pull edge that we talked about. The same thing if I put up any loop edge here, you notice that it goes around the mouth as we expect. The same thing here, it goes around this, as we expected. So that's very important because it helps you a lot later on defining the areas or the deforming areas of the object itself. We have here another pull that moves me from the neck to the rest of the body, and the same thing here that separates the neck from the shoulders or the arms later on. So this is mainly what I wanted to explain here, but if we go further a little bit, we're talking here about how can we retopologize a mesh. So yes, we have this high poly, and we want to create now a new poly that is a new model that is low poly out of this model. So the steps are pretty easy. Let me just do one thing. We have many steps to do that, and there are some add-ons as well in the market that help you do this. So let's start by the basics without any add-on, and I'm gonna explain how did I do this one. I did not use any add-on to retopologize this one, but we can talk about these add-ons in a minute. But initially, if you would like to do this retopology here, so basically what I usually do is to enable the snapping on the face project, okay, and then I add a modifier. Let me just bring a new object, Shift A, mesh, plane, and let me rotate it, RX 90, like this, Control A, apply rotation, and I can bring that face here. Okay, you notice that it snaps to one of the faces of the mesh. It's not obvious because the faces are actually very small. If I scale that down, I'm gonna just show you a sample. I will not do the whole character, but it's just how to start. So I bring this here. Let's assume that this is the first plane that I would like to start with, and you notice that there's something wrong happening because it's not rotated the same way. This is because of the face snapping. But again, I add a modifier, which is Shrinkwrap modifier. It comes under the generate here, or the deform, I think. Yes, the deform. The new Blender has changed. So I will add a Shrinkwrap modifier, and I will select my high poly object as the target, and then I will put this as above surface, and you can control the offset how far you want it to be from your original object. Now if I start doing any editing, like taking one of the edges, as you can see, I selected this edge, and if I try to extrude this edge now, it will stuck to my mesh, and whenever you create a new polygons or something, it will try to exactly match the face or the underneath mesh. So by that, you can simply go ahead and start extruding, and select the way that you want and build your new mesh on top of the existing mesh. While building the new mesh or the new model on top of the high poly one, you need to consider the edge flow and to manage the edge flow using the poles, and to know exactly where in your character or in your model the areas that needs to be isolated from others, and it will help you later on add loop cuts to it or something like that to add details maybe, or to better manage the deform of that area of your character when you do the animation. So this is the main way of doing retopology, and these are the concepts that I wanted to talk about in this video. But before I end up this video, let's talk about some of the add-ons that helps you do the retopology. So we have one add-on which is very popular. It's like quad-remesh. The quad-remesh will help you automatically convert your high polymesh into low polymesh with a targeted face counts or polygon counts or quad counts, and it has so many options to control where in your character you would like a high dense area and where you would like a low dense area. So I tried some let's say trials using the quad-remesher. This is the main one, and this is actually a Retopo quad sphere. This is a result of the quad-remesher after I did the remesh. So let's see the difference between them. This is the high poly, and when I click on remesh after doing some adjustments to these settings here, I got this one to the left hand side. So this is not a bad one, but you notice that I did not get the edge flow that I was expecting. So some of these areas were too dense. Maybe we can still enhance that, okay, and we can come up with a better version of this. There is another one also, which is this try here. This is much better than this one, and as you can see a little bit, we have here a good flow, and the pinching or the stretching that I found here was the thing that I didn't like. But overall, you still can work on this and generate the mesh the way you want, and you can see that it's a bit of a low poly, but it's a good low poly result comparing to this one. But what I like most is actually my retopology, which is the manual process. I believe that the manual retopology is giving you much more power or much more choices to manage how dense the areas should be, how the edge flow goes from one area to another area. So this add-on here is actually an automatic retopology add-on that helps you build these low polys from the high polys, but you can use it in certain ways. I'm not the expert here, but I didn't like these results, so I went to my own retopologized mesh, which is this one, as you can see it here. This is my retopology, and I like the way how the edge flows goes, and the let's say the capacity of vertices and loop cuts in my face, or in the face of the model that I am using. Now another add-on that is very, very helpful for manual retopology, which means it will help you generate the remesh by giving you certain tools that will place some polygons, some vertices, some loops on top of the high dense mesh, but it will not generate the end result for you automatically. Now this add-on is called RetopoFlow. So this is the RetopoFlow page on Blender Market, and you can see that it's used for Retopology. It's a Retopology toolkit for Blender, and this is the most powerful Retopology add-on that I have ever used, because it gives you so many options. As you can see here, we can build contours, so just with one slash of a mouse you can build the topology around the fingers, around the arms, around the legs, and so on. It has also the poly strips or poly stripes, so you just draw a line and it will arrange the faces for you. You can control the number of loop cuts within that stripe. Then we have poly stripe. We have also, you can control how where to put it, curvature of it, and so on, strokes, and also another one for strokes as well. And we have polygen or polypin. It's similar to Blender default polygen tool, but it's much more powerful than that. We have the knife tool, we have the relax tool. So if you feel that your topology is not well organized, you can just go to the relax and it will try to put it in a manner that is tied together and equals in size. Tweak and patches is one of my favorites actually, because you simply can patch an area if you would like to have just a straight polygons around it, or standard polygons around it. So with one click or with multi-selection, and then you patch that area and it gives you the output that you want. Loops for details, as you can see here, and they have a lot of YouTube videos as well. Now, if you notice on the top here that this add-on has a pretty high price for personal commercial use and for small teams and for indie games. It's around $86 for commercial use. But if you don't want, or if your intention is to learn how to retopologize without using it for commercial use, the good news here is that they mentioned down here that they have a non-commercial and educational free license. So you can download it. RetopoFlow is free for students and teachers. You can download it from this link here. This is the link, and you go and download it as zip file, download zip, and then you can use it. Now, how to use it, I will not explain it here, but you can simply go to their website and check the complete guide to retopology with RetopoFlow. So this is a very, very simple tool. You will not face any hard time learning it. It's easy. And by that, I reached to the end of my video. I hope that this video will get you interested in this matter. And don't forget, please, to support the channel, as it is pretty new, as you can see. I need your support to grow this channel and to encourage me add more videos that everybody can get use of it. Thank you very much. Like, share, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.